Okay, we back. We back. It's Monday. It's Monday. The Lord let us live one more day, huh? Okay, so the market was going up and down like it normally do on a Monday. So it's kind of at an even point, because the Fed's trying to decide whether to cut interest rate in September and all this other stuff going on. Like I say, I don't care about that. But I got one for you. We gonna start here. I got my little sidekick on the side when she was younger. She's turning 4 pretty soon. So I'm gonna try to keep her in here in the spotlight as much as possible. But we gonna go to my tool because I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna show you one of these bitcoins, a bit whatever. All this operates on blockchain technology primarily in the United States. It's called Bitmine Immersion Technology Stock Overview. It's highly volatile in the last 3 months. The shares has been diluted a lot. Earnings declined 52% over the past 5 years. And all you can read about all this stuff, what they supposed to be doing. But it's not an institutional stock yet. But folks, institutions are coming in and buying them lately. So it's really only supposed to be 88 cents, but it's $54. That's what I'm saying. You get 88 cents, then all of a sudden 2 days later it's it's $54. You'd have made some money, even if you had about $100 on that thing. That's what I'm talking about. So, let's go back to the overview. All these things, it ain't saying anything. It's got a lot of risk and said, let's look at the valuation. Look, it's 57. It was $57. Now it's down to $54. I bought at 54. So it's still going between 54 and 55 and stuff today. But look, future cash flow. This thing is over. It says overvalued by 65,000%. It's supposed to be 88 cents. Okay. But we know that's what I'm saying. And then let's look at future growth. They don't see a future growth in it. They have nothing, but they talk about Bitcoin. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin. It's mining. This one right here, look at that. Past earnings, nothing. It's just, Bitcoin immersions has been declining at an average rate of 52%, negative two, while software industry saw earnings of 21% annually. Revenue has been growing at an average of 75% per year. Okay. Look at that. Then you talk about financial health. Wow. Financial health is pretty good. Well, this is the first time we saw some green in here. Financial health. It said Bitcoin immersion. Look at that. They talking about, they got shareholder equity about 2 million. The total debt is about 1.9 million, which brings to debt about 65%. The total assets is liability is about 8 million. See, that ain't no money. That's no money at all. But look, they got assets and this is liabilities. Short-term liabilities, short-term is about 2 million. Long-term liability assets is about 2 million. So they're about ready to break even. And so they're not giving no dividend. And look at the management. Management is good though. The management is something. This guy named Jonathan Bates, uh, CEO. He could make about a couple of $1,000. Yeah, that's a little bit of money. So he's been the manager about 3.5 years. That's good spread. He's been the CEO, and then the experience management. They got experience management, and they got experience board. Okay, so they ready to rock and roll. So now ownership. Look at that. Insiders own about. This guy came in. Thomas Lee. Thomas Lee came in and bought what, thousand, 100,000, million, about a million of them. Okay, or is this? Yeah, that's a million. 1 million something. This one, he probably bought it at 88 cents. Okay, so he got about 44. No, he bought it at what, $4 and something. Now it's 54. So they already made their money back. And this was in the last 3 months. So I said, I'm gonna bite, I'm gonna get into it because everything's talking about Bitcoin. So I went in, I bought about 50 of them. Let's see if I can make a little bit of money. Insider buying, look at that. The MR Insider has bought more shares than they have sold in the last 3 months. So you can see insiders bought the most, and then institutions are starting to come in and play, and now private companies. But look, general public going about 84% of that. it's been diluted. So you see, that's why people buy it because Peter Thiel. He came in and he got about 5 million of these things. This company, look, this Tower Group bought about got about 3 million. Thomas Lee, he's the CEO, I think, or one of the insiders, one of the two. And look, these are just insiders. Samuel Johnson. Look at that, Chris. You don't see, you see most innovative. Now you go into the institutions down here. So I bought into it. You don't see Vanguard or BlackRock in this thing because they're not getting in it yet until something breaks. Something it's going to do something. Okay. Okay. Look at that. They're out of Las Vegas. No wonder. Okay. So you got to understand that those are you only got a few institutions in here. The rest is insiders buying. They must know something. So since they must know something, since they buy millions of shares, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of shares, when it was probably about $4, and this guy bought it $44.54. So Thomas Lee, he's still buying. Thomas Lee. Where's Thomas Lee? Is Thomas Lee on the board? Or is the Thomas Lee? Nope, he's an insider. CEO is this guy, this is Nelson, this is CFO. And this Jonathan Bates and Elson. Yeah. So you can see they know something. Okay. So I'm gonna reshare. I'm gonna see what's in the market today. Let's look at it. We only got a few minutes. I might not go the whole. Okay. So that's BMR right there. It's $55. It's $55 a share right now. Okay. I don't make no money, but look, it got 45 million on it. So something is going on. So I bought about 30 shares. I buy it. I thought I had 50, but I bought 40. I still could buy 20 more, but I'm not. GovOx is still doing what GovOx do, still hanging on to 70. They bought all these insiders, bought all these institutions, bought at 65. So they still making a little bit of money. Intel is not doing what they started off well, $24. Now they backtracking, but that's okay. I look at them again tomorrow. I took out 30 out of Intel, just go in here and buy some of these. Okay. Microsoft, I still, Microsoft is doing well there, but NVIDIA is running the pack right now. NVIDIA is at 182. They went down to 179. So NVIDIA, you're gonna hear about a lot of NVIDIA between now and next week. Because next week they got earnings, the 27th, I believe, or 28th. And that's, I'll be out of hopefully I don't know. You see what happens. Okay, Politar's not had a good day today. They down a little bit, 173. They were up in the 180s at one point. So they'll get back. They'll find their groove. Um, SMCI, they holding their own. And then this is the one I picked Southern. So, they were about 94. I got it at 92. Let me sell this thing. It's not doing me any good right now. Let me sell that thing. It's only 10. You tired of losing money. Okay. I would tell GovOx I'm not gonna sell them too. I'm gonna let them ride. I'm not gonna sell Politar. Okay, let's go over and look at my margin account. Okay, so this one right here, BWXT, should I go, it's down to 171, yeah, I think I'll revisit that tomorrow because they didn't have it's about $10. No, it's not even worth selling. It's $10. They made about 300, so I leave it in there. Clove is still hanging in there. I only got 100 of them. And DFI, they hanging in there too. You know, that's one of those OTC stocks. GovOx is still 73. They start off like 77, but I bought them at 66. 5,000 at 66. So 73, I'm making a little bit of money. HCMI, that's still people still think, market value $3 bought for 69. Okay. Hives. Ooh, hives. You know, they making a little bit of money. They still holding their own though. They still holding their own. MJ, marijuana guy. Okay. Look, they making a lot of money. Look at that. Something's going on. That's NVIDIA. Excuse me. I'm sorry. NVIDIA is going on. Bought at 88 is up to 182. Made about $14,000 on that thing. And Pilotar, this is what I say you can keep going up. I got this at 174. Uh, I bought it at 172, it's 174, and then you can see I got 50 of them. So it may be a little bit of money, but you put them all together, they do a pretty good job. And then we got TTOO. Okay, that's still OTC stock. They haven't made a move, but I got my eye on them. Got my eye on them. I got $7,000 just sitting out there, but I need to get back up to at least 30,000. That's what I started with. So I'm really down, but they say for the year I'm up about $11,000 in this account. I usually make money over on this side, then I transfer it over on the other side. So I'm still gonna leave it in there because I'm gonna play with that for a little while. I'm gonna go ahead and let that simmer. Now let's look at all these together. I got about less than 3 minutes. Yeah, about 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes. So, I should be about 80,000. So I'm about 2005. So I'm not going to take no money out of my account just yet. So if you want to look at this overall on the whole, the loser, Govox is really the loser today. But you got the winner would be that MJ, that's that marijuana one. NVIDIA, oh no, excuse me, I'm sorry. NVIDIA is 182. So they made me they $500, $600 a day, Oh, 514. And then the next in line is that MJ, that marijuana stock. And then you have SMCI closely running with the DMIF. I love those motorcycles. That's why I back in them. I bought 10,000 of them. It only made me a little bit of money. We'll see what happens before it's over. Yeah, be done. All of them, what can you say? That's the portfolio right there. And I'm gonna keep paring down till I get the right mixture. But all these seem to, if one is down, the other's up. I'm banking on, Lord will, I'm banking on those little ones start because they got a lot of room. They got a lot of float that they can do something with. So, we can sit here all day, but NVIDIA probably gonna be the winner for the next until earnings because they probably expecting something big, and hopefully it's gonna be around the same time inflation that inflated. He dropped that 0.5% in September. If he do that, we get the end of the week next week. If I look on the calendar, look back here on the calendar, yeah, that's the 27th, that'll be 27th. Yeah, it's done that following weekend. That's Labor Day weekend. That's the last people be going to the beach. So I'm looking at this thing, look like Palantir starting to do its run again. We gonna see if Palantir can do some mustard and try to push that up a little bit more. But look, the others look like they trying to push it down. Look at Govox. It went up to 74 cents. So all of them trying to push to the end. But we gonna see, NVIDIA is gonna be the winner again. So I'm going to shut my screen because it's 4 o'clock. It's made 3. I didn't lose anything and I didn't gain anything. I probably gained about $100 today. But it's saying 400. No, I really lost about 149 because I had to sell some of this stuff. Okay, so let me stop sharing. Okay, God bless you. God keep you. God cause faith shine on you and give you peace. And hopefully we'll be back here Friday with some good news. Okay, God bless you.